So what's going on, guys? Box here and welcome to a brand new video on MotoGP 21, and today I'm going to be talking about some things I've noticed with the game and potentially some problems that I have with the game. It's not all perfect. I mean, it's very good. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the feel. There's a steep learning curve to it compared to last year's game, which is good. It's kept me engaged, and it's, it brings back the feeling of wanting to play the game, to ride the game. To ride the bikes, so that's really good, and the graphics are great. Career mode's very similar to last year, but that's not the main things I want to talk about today. There's some potential tweaks and things that need to be made, I think, and things I've noticed as well, which I want to find out if you guys think the same thing. Do you think the same things that I'm feeling? Am I the only one? Is it me, the way, my riding style, that sort of thing? So let's get in and let's start talking about these things. So the first sort of thing I've noticed then in MotoGP 21, I've noticed this from playing career mode. So career mode, I've noticed there's a big pace difference for the AI between qualifying and the race, and even practice. The AI are a lot quicker in practice than they are in qualifying, or at least what I've experienced playing the game. So you'll set your AI difficulty, you'll then get into qualifying, and depending on what difficulty you use, you'll get pole position, and then when it comes to the race, you'll fall back through the grid. So qualifying is meant to be where the bikes are at the quickest, and the AI do the opposite, is when they're the slowest, which is strange. It takes the fun out of qualifying. Qualifying, you want to push through each sector, you're looking for that red marker at every sector, and if the AI are just too easy, there's no fun to it. So I sort of find myself in the Moto 3 career mode that I'm skipping out qualifying and not including that in all the videos, because it's just not fun seeing you're going to get pole, but then in the race you're going to actually be fighting. That's the thing, the AI on the whole are very good. In the race, they're very good at battling. Sometimes they send it up the inside. They're nice and aggressive, which is what you want from the AI. They're very, very good. Sometimes they're a bit sort of, that you can tell they're programmed a little bit. And they make some silly mistakes at certain tracks, when they all go flying off at certain corners. Not talking about Sachsenring final corner, but they're on the whole, they're very good. It's just qualifying pace, that discrepancy just takes away from the fun and the realism. You're meant to be on the edge in qualifying. The next thing I've noticed is to do with tyre wear. Now, this could be me and my riding style, but I've been looking at gameplay online as well, other YouTubers playing the game. And for me, I've noticed that the tyres wear too quickly, especially when you compare it to last year's game. I just feel like you're running out of tyre, like with 2 laps to go and you've got absolutely nothing left. Especially on the edges, the middle of the tyre doesn't really wear. So I've noticed on some gameplay videos that the middle of the tyre is at 50% on the last lap, and then either side on the left and the right edge is 0. And in my own races in career mode, I've noticed that the edges, they're at 50% after like lap number 2 or 3. So it could be my riding style, but I've seen other videos on YouTube and I've noticed a similar pattern. So this game does reward smooth riding. You can't be aggressive. You really can't be aggressive. I was very aggressive on MotoGP 20 with my riding style, so I've had to really adjust and switch up the riding style to not fall off the bike. But now I'm smoother, but the tyre wear is still a problem. I'm having to use a lot of hard compound tyres. In the previous game we didn't really have to, so I don't know what's going on with that. This is one point I want to get your guys' feedback on. Are you experiencing the same thing? Are the tyres wearing out too quickly? Especially the front tyre. A lot of trail braking just takes the life out of the tyre. So let's see. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you on similar sort of patterns? But let me know down below. The next thing is linked to career mode, and this was a problem on the last year's game and the year before and everything like that. All the previous games, I think. So when you join a team in career mode, you then become the third rider, which is cool because you don't replace an existing rider, but it means the constructors can be very easy and the team ranking can be very easy, especially if you're a top team. It'd be more realistic to swap out a rider. So having 3 riders in a team is a bit weird. You only really get that when there's wildcard races, and vice versa. When you're using a brand new team you create yourself, that doesn't give you a teammate, so it makes the team rankings very difficult. So it kind of makes it pointless if you're in, a realistic fight for a team championship. You're just not going to beat the likes of the factory Yamaha team or even factory Honda team, Ducati team, because they've got 2 riders on your own. It's going to be very difficult in career mode, and career mode is about winning the championships, whether it be riders or team. Like, if Marquez runs away with it, Suzuki are going to want to try and take the team and constructors. So that sort of needs fixing, and that links to another thing. We need to see rider transfers in career mode. It's going to get very stale if we don't see that in MotoGP 22. I mean, F1 games, they always said they could never do it because of licensing and things, but they've done it. So if it's in the F1 game, then there's no why not in the MotoGP game? I'm sure there's either a development reason or a licensing reason, but we need some sort of swapping around of riders on teams. Like, we want to see Marquez move to Yamaha, things like that. That's what keeps the F1 2020 career mode so interesting when you're playing it. Those top riders, they'll swap teams to different bikes, or different, in the case of F1, different riders will switch to different F1 teams. So that would also help fix the 3 riders in one team career mode, if riders could move around teams. So that'd be interesting. Even if they did that first and then they implemented in later games, moving up between the classes riders, that would be cool. But it just keeps it interesting in career mode. So getting more into the physics of the game, I think the brakes have been made more realistic, which is good. It just takes a while to get used to it. It took me ages. It really did take me ages. I'd played the game for like 10 hours and I was still struggling in the GP class. I was fine in Moto 3 and Moto 2, but it took me absolutely ages. It probably took me about 15 hours of gameplay to sort of get used to it. I was half decent at MotoGP 20. I mean, we did 90 odd episodes of MotoGP 20 career mode plus all the 2021 mod stuff, so we got plenty of game time and experience. And I struggled with MotoGP 21 at first, but the brakes are fine, the suspension's fine as well. The one thing though is the curbs, weirdly enough. You start to go over a curb and it just sucks you out. It sucks you off your line. Now, I know some curbs are meant to be like that and you avoid them at all costs, but there are curbs out there on certain circuits which riders use, and they use them. You see it all the time in like the slow-mo replays, that they're on the curbs and it's not costing them time. So I think some of the curbs should stay as they are. They suck you out, they're too bumpy, that sort of thing, but most of them, you in real life, they ride over them and there's no issue. But I've noticed that if you turn in and you run wide onto the curb, it then sort of lifts the bike up, and then it sucks you out wider, then you're offline and then you've lost 3 places. So I think the curbs is sort of the only thing I can think of with the physics, because I mean the other tweaks to the physics make it more realistic, and it keeps it more interesting when you're riding the bike. So I haven't got any other issues with the physics. The physics, they've got pretty much spot on, I think. You just got to practice, that's the problem. You just got to put in the effort. So if you like the game, you just got to keep playing it and keep practicing, and you'll get there. So the other thing then is the bike retrieval system. It's a really good concept, and I did a separate video on this, so go check it out if you want to hear about that in more detail. But the bike retrieval system, there's a few issues with it. The biggest thing is the fact that the AI don't have it. and Milestone have said they're gonna patch that into the game where the AI will have it, but it's how long that takes, because it's sort of teasing us at the minute, like it's cool, but you're at such a disadvantage using it, so there's no point using it. So I've turned it off in my career mode. The other thing is that there's a few things around it. I've talked about this in detail in the video, so go check it out. Link will be in the description. But the rider he's a little bit slow running to the bike. In real life, they do run a little bit quicker. So if they can increase that speed of running to the bike, and even the animations, like there's a lot of waiting in between animations coming on and off, and it just loses time. I think it's sort of exaggerated at the minute because the AI aren't losing that much time. So we'll see what happens when that gets patched into the game. Another thing which is sort of a bit frustrating with the game is the fact that not all of the Moto 2 and Moto 3 liveries are in the game, like the latest 2021 stuff. You'd have thought MotoGP 21 they'd managed to get all the liveries in there. Now I know it was the same with MotoGP 20, however last year there was that huge thing going on in the world which caused a big disrupt, and they had to ship the game out on time. But this year, everything the game's been made completely from home from what they've said, but they do need to get all the liveries in there. I mean, it's fine that Moto E and Red Bull rookies have been left out and they could be patched in at a later date, but you'd have thought as a minimum Moto 3, Moto 2, MotoGP with all 2021 rider helmets and proper liveries, but that's not been the case. So, but saying that, I would rather be like this and us have the game in April than delay the release of the game to say May time, and then 3 or 4 or 5 races have gone by and the game's still not out. So I'd rather have it this way round. That's just a bit of a picky point, but so I think that pretty much rounds off everything that I can think of. Just little problems with the game. They're all minor things that can be fixed by patches or updates. So yeah, let me know down below in the comments what issues or problems or fixes do you want to see in the game. Let me know down below what problems are you facing and what can they do to fix it, and then maybe Milestone will see this and then they can start to work on some updates for the game going forward. There's gonna be quite a few patches. I remember MotoGP 20 there was quite a few significant updates to the game as after the game had released, so that would be good. And Milestone did a good job last year of keeping us sort of up to date with the rider performances as the real life GPs went on. That's been it for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, a bit of a different one. Do let me know down below in the comments. Make sure you get subscribed for that MotoGP 21 career mode. It's going really, really well. Thoroughly enjoying it, so make sure you stay tuned. Probably daily, I think the career mode is going to be, if not every other day, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And as always, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you guys in the next one.